This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Reclamation Podcast, where our goal is to help you reclaim good practices for following Jesus. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tony, and I'm your host with over a decade in the local church. I care deeply and passionately about helping you connect with Jesus in practical and authentic ways, like real ways. And I do that every single week through 2 major platforms. The first is the interview episodes I do at the beginning of the week, and the second is this platform right here, the monologue episode, where I share with you some of the thoughts that I've been wrestling with in the life of the church. And these episodes are always 15 minutes or less, and I'm so thankful for all of you who've given me such positive feedback on the impact they've had on you. So today, as this drops, it'll be December 8th, and we are now firmly into Advent. Now, for a lot of my listeners, Advent is not something that's very well known. It's not always practiced in every denomination. You will not find it in scriptures. The truth is, Advent is part of the liturgical calendar. The liturgical calendar is a calendar put together by the historic church, Orthodox, Catholic, more liturgical churches, and it's designed to help you and I walk with the Lord. The liturgical calendar and Advent are both discipleship tools, meaning that they're really there to help you understand your walk with the Lord in an intentional way. Why does this matter? I'm glad you asked. Well, it matters because our posture, our intentionality, our kind of how we position ourselves with the Lord matters. And if we're left to our own devices, we probably won't do it right. Amen? You know, if you're anything like me, I'm likely to get lazy. I'm likely to get unintentional. I'm likely to kind of procrastinate and put things off. What Advent forces us to do is to prepare for the birth and the return of Christ. What Advent easy for me to say. What Advent forces us to do is to prepare for the birth and the return of Christ. Now, Advent, by definition, literally means arriving of something notable, right? So in the way that we think about it, Advent has 2 major purposes: remembering what was and preparing for what will be. Remembering what was and preparing for what will be. Advent is all about bringing the story of God's redemption to earth, right? That's the very nature of Christ, right? Christ is the light that breaks through the darkness, and the darkness shall not overcome it. And what I love about the birth story of Jesus is the birth story of Jesus. If we think about the light, Jesus being the light, and Jesus is going to break through the darkness, then the birth story of Jesus measures the depth of the darkness in the story. His family, Jesus' earthly family, is a reminder of the fullness of the gospel. Isaiah 11, 1-3 says it like this: "A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord." Now we understand that the shoot that will come up from the stump of Jesse, from his roots, that shoot is Jesus. That shoot is who Jesus is. It's God in the flesh. Now, what I love about this passage from Isaiah is that it's really going through the flesh and blood descendant from Jesse, right? It's talking about...
This episode is brought to you by Honda. Introducing the all-new, all-terrain Honda Passport Trail Sport, the most off-road capable Honda Passport Honda has ever dreamt up. The Passport features increased ground clearance, roof rails on all trims, and available specially developed all-terrain tires. And you'll stay comfortable with tri-zone climate control and available features like heated and ventilated front seats and a panoramic moonroof. Learn more at honda.com/passport.
How important the earthly family of Jesus is. Right? Jesse, the father of King David, will come, about whom Isaiah will say, right? This is kind of the idea that Jesus was born of this earth. You know, in the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew, the writer of Matthew begins with a short kind of description of all of Jesus's descendants. Right? Or not descendants, but his ancestry. If you ever go back and read Matthew 1, it's what I call the begets. Like so-and-so begets so-and-so begets so-and-so. And what we begin to see is we begin to see that the history of Jesus is full of broken people. The history of Jesus' family on earth is not a perfect family. It's not, the Cleavers, right? It's very much a broken family full of broken people. What I love about this is that it brings into picture the full redemptive nature of Christ on earth. It brings about the fullness of life. The other thing that I absolutely love about the fullness of life with Christ that we see in this Isaiah is this idea of the stump, right? It says a shoot will come from the stump of Jesse, from his roots will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and of understanding, the Spirit of counsel and of might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord, and he will delight in the fear of the Lord. Let's talk about the stump for a minute. The stump is not a live tree. The stump is dead. Right? If you're looking at a stump, you're looking at what was. And for Isaiah to say that the shoot will come from the stump of Jesse, friends, what he's telling us is that once we once thought was dead will now come alive, and that new life will be Jesus. Right? Jesus will bring new life. He's going to bring new life from something that looked dead. If your life feels dead, turn to Jesus. If your life feels like it's done, turn to Jesus. If you're not sure what to do next, turn to Jesus. Because Jesus can make new life come from dead things. And if that's not the whole essence of Christmas, I don't know what is. I love that. I just love it. It's my favorite part of the story. Because the fullness of the gospel doesn't come in spite of Jesus' family. The fullness of the gospel comes in light of Jesus' family. Once we begin to understand the fullness of Jesus' family history, the fullness of the brokenness, the fullness of what everyone thought was dead, we begin to understand how important Jesus is on earth. There's a part in the gospel that says, Nazareth, nothing good can come from Nazareth. But we know it differently, don't we? We know that the redemption of the world comes from Nazareth. This despicable part of the world that people wrote off. And I don't know about you, but in the Christmas season, it's really easy for me to lose touch with the Lord. Just the busyness of the season is all. It's easy for me to become resentful and just overwhelmed and just all the things that come with Christmas. And yet in Advent, in this liturgical season, this discipleship tool gives us a moment to pause and say, look at what was and look at what will be. So I don't know where you are in your faith walk today. I don't know how close or far away you're feeling from God. But what I do know is, in this season, take some time to pause, to posture your heart, to come before the Lord. And remember what was, what is, and what is to come. Friends, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. I'm thankful for our opportunity to connect. I hope and pray that today's monologue episode was helpful for you, and that maybe, just maybe, this Advent season you'll pause and reflect a little bit more. Please connect with us on Instagram at TWMilt, at TWMILT. Hit that subscribe button to this episode wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, do us a favor, leave a rating or review on iTunes or Spotify. It would sure mean the world to us. We're so thankful for each and every one of you, and we're excited to be celebrating the Advent season with you. So, guys, that's all I have for today. And remember, if you want to follow Jesus, you must be willing to move.